like, what is going on?
That's Starbucks.
My stuff.
It's the
You
lid.
I'm gonna give you the solo cam so we can see your shirt right now.
Jeez,
I'm
I'm
look
embarrassed.
at the stain, people. Look at the stain on this man's shirt,
I didn't get any in my mouth.
like a child.
It's the IDP show, now you know.
Welcome to the IDP show. I'm your host, Josh Raymer. In the Sode Shack, Adam Markham, Bobby Reynolds. It is the start of week 3 of the preseason. We've got both TVs going here in the Sode Shack tonight. Bears, Chiefs, Colts, Bengals. Football is here. There's a little chill in the air in Bowling Green the last few days, boys. It feels like fall, Bobo. I think we're getting closer and closer to football being here.
Till next Wednesday when it's 98.
I was going to say, welcome to Kentucky. If you don't like the weather, just wait because it'll change tomorrow.
I agree. I got a little invite from Addie last weekend, a little golf invite. Had to pass. We had stupid baseball going on, but Adam got a little golf in, so that's nice.
As we learned on the last podcast, Adam doesn't want to tear an ACL because he would miss all of golf season.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Gotta have it. Gotta have it. It's medicine.
You got a round in at Park.
Yeah, it was very nice. Overdue, long overdue.
You know the
best golf course in the world.
The beauty of Park now is that you pass Buc-ee's on the way there.
I know.
Did you stop?
A twofer.
Did you stop?
I didn't have time.
Okay.
You were running late for your tee time.
I did,
as we
yeah.
found out. Yeah,
Right.
if you had stopped,
they
probably
weren't
they
thrilled
would have
with me.
shot you on sight if you had showed up after a
Yeah.
Buc-ee's run.
Different management up there. They're taking things a little more serious. It's a lot more
They're
busy.
cracking
So,
down.
nothing gold can stay.
Nothing gold could stay. It was golden for a while.
What are your thoughts on the 20 to 30-year-old groups that get together and just get ripped on a golf course?
I'm for it.
Yeah?
Totally for it. I mean, as
Okay.
long as they're not being too rowdy and,
Okay. But if they're being rowdy?
Yeah, I mean,
Got to respect the game.
yeah, you don't want to be.
This is golf,
you
after
got to
all.
be somewhat respectful,
I guess
but I want you to have a good time out
I
there.
want you to have a good time, but the ramping golf carts through sand
Oh,
traps.
yeah,
This,
that's
we're not doing jackass
We're not.
stunts.
We don't disrespect the
It
course.
seems like I'm hearing this more and more often, to where this is like just becoming a thing. Like people who don't golf just go getting just tore up.
Well,
and,
they're making TikToks.
Sure.
Exactly.
Exactly.
We want to show
That's the
show what they've
TikTok
done
world,
for the
Bobby.
TikToks.
That's the dark
I don't
web.
know. I'm a little old. I'm a little old-fashioned when it comes to my
I'm
golf.
a little old.
No,
We're a
I hate
lot
that.
old.
I don't think that. I think that's pretty universal.
That's
no
just
one,
called
no one,
vandalism.
Yeah, no one likes that stuff.
Yeah, no, that's just illegal.
Take care of the course. The course
Sure.
takes care of you. That's one of the that's
There you
one of the
go.
rules of golf.
I need you to write a book that's just all the rules, written
Right.
and unwritten of
Sure.
golf.
There's,
Life lessons.
There's a lot.
From the course by
There's a
Adam
lot.
Markham.
You a live guy?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the vibes.
think
Adam
it was
likes
in
the
Nashville
Adam
this
likes
year.
the golf YouTube. That's you're
Yeah,
into
hey,
the YouTube
YouTube golf is great.
Hey,
scene.
I can second that. Peter Finch, one of my
He's
favorite.
awesome.
I think he's from Scotland.
He's awesome.
Great
The
YouTube
Busted
follow.
Jack boys are good.
Sure.
Grant Horvat's
Yeah.
a good one.
He's getting up
the
there.
Brian Bros are good. There's a lot of good content out there. We may do a golf video at some
We
point.
may.
We might.
We might
Stay
do
tuned.
it. We might do it.
But tonight we are not making a golf video. We are making a
People are gonna
recap.
be so mad that we
Spent-
showed our personalities. They
know.
don't like that. They don't
Sorry,
like
guys.
that. Give us the stats. Shut up.
Give us the timestamps on YouTube, damn it. All right, well, here you go, guys. 3.5 minutes in, we start talking about football. Tonight, we are looking at headlines from week 2 of the preseason and going over our madness rosters as well. IDP Madness kicked off the last couple days here, Tuesday and Wednesday. Those leagues are rolling. Addie, we finally got it done. We got the leagues filled. It's going. I'm having a blast so far. We're 14 rounds in, so our draft is absolutely rolling. But I thought maybe we'd kick things off, go around the table, share our rosters, kind of see how we're feeling about the squads.
A little madness. Who'd you get?
Madness, who'd you get? I would try to do it, but I'm going to try to save the voice for the entire episode. Addie, you put this whole thing together, so why don't you go first? You're in league number 1. Maybe throw out some of the names of folks that the listeners might know. Who's in there with you?
Yeah, we got a guy by the name of Sigmund Bloom. Ever heard of him?
Ever heard of him? Ever heard of the GOAT?
Yeah, we have also the 2023 winner, our boy.
That's right.
Country Boy Swagger.
Andrew Morgan. Shout out.
Morgan, very smart drafter, clearly. Won last year's IDP Madness. We have our boy Mace Riney's in here. Our boy Justin Varnes is in here. Sam Cosby, who's been on the show before.
That's right.
Yeah,
Shout
sure
out
has.
Sam.
Yep. Our boy Charlie's in here. So we got a good little room.
That's a good room.
Fun room. Friends, future friends.
Sure.
Fellow analysts.
Good time. Good time. But yeah, we're having a great time. The draft is going very well. Everything is going according to plan.
Yes, this is my most fun draft of the year. Like, I love IDP Madness so much.
Yeah, it's like all the and it feels like all the preparation is like paid off because
Yes, it has.
getting all this insane value. Let's just get into it because
Let's do it.
It's ridiculous. So I had the 104, fourth overall pick in this draft, Micah Parsons. Love that. He's got the dual designation in this draft on sleepers. So Khalil Mack at the 209. That's great value there. I don't know that I've seen him go, that late in too many of these things. Then I got Trey Hendrickson at 304. Again, awesome value. 409, I got Matt Judon. 504, I got Harold Landry. So four out of my first 5 picks are guys that have dual designation. I get Robert Spillane at 609.
Beautiful.
Wanted to get a guy that could rack up some tackles for me. He had like 250 total points last season, so he was a baller. I think almost 150 tackles. So definitely needed a guy like that on my team because up to this point it had been just all big play guys.
Yep.
And then 704, Bryce Huff. Couldn't believe he was there, but got myself another dual desi guy. And then we're still in the 7th round, so like it. Really good squad. Feel very good about it.
Feeling good so far.
A lot of high upside guys.
Yep. That's what you got to do. We talked about this on IDP drafts when we did these mock drafts, that there are certain rules that apply to Madness that don't apply necessarily to our other 31-round drafts. And the fact that those are 12-team tournaments, whereas this is 120 teams. And so you have to swing for upside, Bobo. You have to have those boom guys. But we were talking about before we got on mic, you also have to have those 3-down linebackers like a Big Bob Spillane who can give you a little bit of a floor each week if those boom guys crap out.
Adam's ranks are good, right?
They are indeed.
The IDPshow.com. If you don't,
The best in the world.
That's what people are saying.
If you don't know, now you know.
But you got to differentiate. You got to do something a little bit different. You got to take your shot.
And that's the thing too. A lot of these folks drafting are following Adam's ranks right down the list. So you have to have your own player takes.
And I'm not necessarily saying like you got to do crazy things like take defensive backs really high or completely turn your plan upside down. But you've got to take your shot on a couple guys that people might not necessarily roster, guys that you really think if somebody else in front of them is a little bit more injury prone, they might have an opportunity. Who was it particularly last year that Country Boy Swagger had? So it was Antoine Winfield was a big guy for him.
And Kyle Hamilton.
He just hit on a lot of these. He hit on like Bobby Okereke, which was huge.
So Josh told me earlier today or yesterday. You can't see in the picture now, but we got a little mini fridge also.
Yes, we do.
Full of adult beverages.
Sure.
But Josh was telling me yesterday when I stopped by that Country Boy actually. So his 2 DBs that hit were Antoine Winfield and
Kyle Hamilton.
They were not his first 2 DBs drafted.
Nope, they were his 3rd and 4th.
So it is kind of risky to go and get like an Antoine Winfield in the 3rd or get some of these guys in the 5th because, they really had better hit for you if you're going to take them in the 3rd or 4th round.
The strategy that's always the best is, just draft the best players, know. But
Tried and true.
We that's the benefit of hindsight. Obviously, we know looking back now that Country Boy Swagger hit on, I think, 3 of the top 4 linebackers, 2 of the top 3 DBs, and several late-round guys that were absolute
Derek Brown
smashes.
was one he had late, I remember. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But that team also had some pretty big whiffs, too. So you can survive, taking dudes that basically are zeros. Now, you can't afford a lot of those, and he was helped out by the fact that the guys that did hit absolutely blew way past expectation. But, Bobo, why don't you go next? Hit us with your squad.
I want to tell you a couple of guys in the league real quick.
Yes, please.
Shout out Dynasty Sneeko. Don't look that up. That's not his handle, but I love my boy Sneeko. Sleepy Weasels. DJ KT, old Daniel Keltown's in here.
Daniel Keltown.
We got Mr. Lauren Lucas, Andrew Preston, Jordan Ball, some real good dudes. Again, really smart drafters, also some really good friends, which is always a good thing. So start off, I'm at the 107. Myles Garrett falls to me there at the 107. More than happy to take Myles Garrett there. Came around again. Exact same thought process as Adam, and I have a feeling we will find as Josh. 206 take dual Desi Khalil Mack there in the mid-second.
We are all Mac daddies.
Justin Matabikwe in the third. Rashawn Gary, dual Desi there in the fourth. Frankie Louvu, a guy that I went and got after last week. I kind of thought, what if?
That's a who'd you get for Madness and a who'd you get for our main Dynasty League.
Hey, what if? Hey, two of these guys I went and got this week. Little who'd you get? Went and got Frankie Louvu. And then with my 8th round pick, Trenton Simpson, I went and got him in the XFL this week. But then to bookend those right there in between, I got Jared Verse. Got me a little Jared Verse in the 6th and a little Ed Oliver special in the 7th.
That's
so
nice.
A little DL heavy, not as dual Desi heavy as one might find here, Joshua Raymer.
Yes, just wait.
I love my start, though. I love my start. I'm happy with it. With it.
There's either of you boys like, maybe I would have done this instead, or
Perfect draft.
I feel like I start to get into that later in the draft, but just taking some swings. But I feel like through, the first, you guys are in like round 6 or 7 right now?
No, I can't complain. I really can't. It's everything's going great.
It's pretty chalky up top. Even if there's some weird picks mixed in or more DBs, that top 100 or so picks, maybe top 75 picks is pretty similar across every league, I feel like.
Now, you've got some crazy DB fans in your league.
Yeah, we had some
heavy on the
DBs going early, for sure.
But
I think that's a Madness trend. I think more DBs will go earlier in Madness.
We're about to finish the 8th round, and there have only been 8 DBs taken.
Yeah, I think we had...
Wow, we're probably like 12 to 15.
I think we're probably closer to that,
And Andrew Preston just took Brian Branch at the 804. Don't you think I'm not making a note of that, Andrew? I've got a note written here. Keeping tabs on you.
I was looking. I think we're about 8 or 9 through 8 rounds, so nothing crazy, like 1 per round for the first 8 rounds or so. But yeah,
is there anything you wish you would have done different, like knowing how the board is shaking out and stuff in your league? Like I know in like my league, like we're through 7 rounds now, but boy, there's still loads of like those dual Desi guys.
Yes, and there's a couple of places I'm like I could have gone with the discount. Like I went with Rashawn Gary in the 5th, which I still think is tremendous value, but Preston Smith was sitting there, I think, in like the 9th or 10th round. So there are these examples of, should I have gone with another player there and just grabbed the discount Rashawn Gary 4 to 5 rounds later?
Because the decision is like, do you want to get these like tackle guys, right?
Yes.
Like all these off-ball linebackers.
That's where I have made my choice, as you will see. We're in starting the 15th round. Yeah, we're in the 15th round right now. So we're down. I've got 14 picks in the can. Half my guys are dual Desi. Half. And so I just made a choice. I said, I'm going to stock up on dual Desi. I'm going to grab a few linebackers. But the little prickle of worry is like, should I have grabbed more linebackers? Because I'm going to get down to my 5th and 6th linebacker, and it's going to be like mega shaky.
Yeah.
So that's
like a Mac Wilson or
like a Cody Barton sort of thing.
Question mark, like a 70%er.
Like I'll tell you who's still
at best, like best case scenario type
in the
decision.
queue: N'Kobe Dean, Leo Chenal, Willie Gay, Nate Landman, Landon Roberts, Deion Henley.
Yeah, that's a tough spot to be in.
It's a really tough spot. I've got some here's the squad. The linebackers I have, I feel great about. I just wish maybe I had 1 or 2 more.
Yeah.
Even my first pick, I was really torn because I had a chance to get me a Will Anderson share, and I went with Joshua Hines Allen at the 111. So I'm picking at the 11. Jax is in here. Our buddy Zach Riles in here. Bogman's in here. It's a really good group.
Your cousin.
Yeah, my cousin Dylan's in here as well. He's actually, he's had a nice little draft. He's got the ranks, so he's just going right down the list. He's at the 110, so it's kind of annoying. He sniped me a few times. But yeah, so.
This is the most interesting thing. Go ahead, Josh. This next pick.
Yeah, Josh Hines Allen and then Khalil Mack at the 202.
Over
Will Anderson.
So he didn't take Will in the 1st and then skipped him and took Mack in the 2nd.
I was really torn there.
That's tough. I mean, those guys are all right there.
For sure.
However you want to order them.
Now that you know me and Adam both have Khalil Mack, would you have gone Will Anderson?
No, I don't think so. I really I
would have probably switched up if I were you. I mean, just because
On Will Anderson.
I think like that's the bet you want to make at that.
That's true. I wasn't thinking game
Like-
theory with all of you guys stacking Mac now. Our builds are going to be pretty similar.
right. Like now we're at a point where like we need to. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to bet against Mac. Not draft him because you got to edge. Like if Mac were to bust.
Yeah.
So I mean that's like exposure type stuff.
That's
you
true.
wanna be thinking
Yeah.
about.
So Mac at the 202, Chris Jones, 311. Azeez Al-Shaair at 402 was my first off-ball linebacker. Rashawn Gary, I mentioned at 5'11".
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 5'11".
He was there
Rashawn
for
Gary.
me. He was there for me at 609. Yeah.
That's
I
ridiculous.
felt crazy that he was available to me in the 4th.
And I went Spillane just because like it was there were just tons of these guys still there. I was like, man, I mean, I know value wise it looks like I should be taking these guys, these Rashawn Garys,
Sure.
and it was like Uchenna and
Yeah.
That's my next guy.
That's what
Uchenna
Josh asked
Nwosu.
me.
5'11", 602, Uchenna Nwosu. But you look at the linebackers that went right after that turn. So 5'11 to 602. It's Devin White. Spillane was the other guy I was really going back and forth on. But like Kaiser White, Eric Kendricks, Jordan Brooks, Kenneth. I was hoping Kenneth Murray would make it back around or Demario Davis would make it back around, and they didn't. So that's probably the
almost
pick.
like you probably would have. I would have probably rather gone Kaiser White there.
I think I would have rather have gone instead of Uchenna, Big Bob Spillane. But on the way back, I told Bobo before you got here, Addy, I took 2 high upside swings at linebacker at this point. I was like, all right, I've got to get some linebackers. And so I went Jack Campbell at 7'11", and then EJ Speed at 802. So it's like there's floor there for sure.
That's nice.
But we saw EJ Speed, one of the highest scoring linebackers to end the season. And if Jack Campbell truly is the green dot.
And those are good moves because like not everyone's going to be in on Jack Campbell. A lot of people are
Yeah.
going to be scared off on Jack Campbell where his ADP is. And so I think you have a potential edge there.
Yes.
Not a lot of people have Jack Campbell.
Those were the swings. Like, I don't know how many teams are going to have an Al-Shaair, EJ Speed, Jack Campbell build.
Al-Shaair looks really good, too, now with Christian Harris's little knee thing.
Yep. So another dual Desi guy at 9'11", never forget, Andrew Van Ginkel, appropriate guy to have there at 9'11".
That's really good value there.
Yes. So, and then your boy, Keyshawn Nixon, was sitting there at 10:02.
Wow.
I did not plan to jump into the DB well, but that's one of the things we talked about a lot on these mock drafts episode of IDP Drafts was you got to have some dudes that are going to score at DB.
Have y'all been paying attention to this kick and punt return stuff? So preseason stuff, and they're going to score more offensively, I feel like in the preseason or in the regular season than they are right now. We're sitting here looking here. The Chiefs have scored 7 points. Actually, I take it back. They've scored now 14 points.
The Bears are whooping people.
But so if you look at the kick returns for every game, there's like 6 kick returns for like 200 yards. So if one, I think that they're going to mix those up. So let's just say Keyshawn Nixon gets a bunch of those, and let's just say maybe Jaden Reed gets some. If Keyshawn Nixon gets 4 kick returns for 100 yards, there's now a floor of 10 points per game, regardless of whether he plays outside, whether he plays the slot. I think the kick and punt return stuff is going to make people a little bit mad. I think people are going to chase it a little bit too much, and I think teams are going to fluctuate who they put back there and who they actually kick to. But if you could find a guy like Keyshawn Nixon, he literally could break DBs this year with that type of perspective.
Especially if he gets that slot corner role.
Yes.
Yeah, and it'll make people like kind of upset with like I think the scoring that we use too.
Yeah.
Where you get a yard or you get a point for every 10 yards,
Yeah. But you should.
Because I mean, I think you should.
Yep.
Same as receiving and rushing.
Yep.
But
It's yardage on the field.
But I mean, yeah, you're right. If they end up getting like double the kick return yardage after these new rule changes, I mean,
It's one of those things.
he'll be crazy.
Oh, yeah.
He really will be.
Yeah.
Another game theory kind of aspect is exploit the edges that you have, and we know that this is a kick and punt return type of scoring setup. So you want to try to get those guys as much as you can because it's just extra points. And as dumb as we think the way Sleeper handles the dual Desi is, we don't think dual Desi is dumb. We just think the way they handle it is dumb. To clarify that point,
Yeah, I'd be okay with everyone having it.
yeah, but just exploit it.
Yeah.
Take advantage of the fact that this is a shorter bench And we now have, I just said, I'm going to take more guys that can fill 2 slots.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit of kind of a hack, but you take
Smart.
advantage of
Yes.
whatever edges you can get,
It's
man.
available to everyone out there.
That's right. Everyone can do it.
Yep.
So let's keep it rolling, though. Keyshawn Nixon, 10-02. Isaiah McDuffie, back-to-back.
Wow.
Green Bay Packers in the 11th round. Was very happy to get McDuffie
That's
there.
so nice for McDuffie.
Yes, it really is. I was very happy to get him as my 4th off-ball linebacker. So
That's good.
Azeez Al-Shaair, Jack Campbell, E.J. Speed, Isaiah McDuffie, and then went with, I have 2023's Khalil Mack, according to Adam, my favorite IDP analyst. Favorite IDP analyst. 2024's Khalil Mack is going to be DeMarcus Lawrence. And so went with DeMarcus Lawrence, 12-02, and then dual Desi boys, Leonard Floyd, Kyle Van Noy, 13-11, 14-02.
Well done, man.
So, yes, I am hoping that I can maybe grab some. But you look at, again, I'm sitting there thinking Van Noy, I love Van Noy, but then all these late linebacker targets I had, Diablo, Perryman, Gibbons, Barton, all getting annihilated right after that. So I think the regret I'm feeling, not regret, but just like, could I have gone a different direction here, is maybe should I have sprinkled in some more off-ball linebackers.
Trusting that there will be value there for you late. Mm-hmm. That's the bet I think you need to make. And you just kind of lean into it. You got to hope, when you're choosing between players, you got to kind of think of it as, in these type tournaments, like who's the guy that can potentially get around to me next, and also like who's the guy that maybe everyone is off of out of the group. You know what I mean? That's the guy you need to be targeting. Just to just make your lineup as different as you can. Because I mean that's how you win these big 100-man tournaments.
Yep, exactly. It also helps. I know that there are certain players like McDuffie that Sleeper's ADP is going to suppress. Like, who knows where Isaiah McDuffie is in Sleeper's ADP? Who knows?
Yeah.
So, I was not surprised to see him make it back.
You're not
going to
scroll and find him.
Kyle Van Noy. You're not going to see Kyle Van Noy in Sleeper's ADP. So there were certain guys I knew. Leonard Floyd. I just put those guys in the queue.
All those guys
I knew they would be there.
Top 120 in my ranks.
And
They've
that's
been
why
there all off season.
I took them where I took them was because even though Sleeper's ADP suppresses them, I knew there were quite a few people with your ranks seeing, oh my gosh, this Leonard Floyd, Kyle Van Noy, these guys are still there.
Oh yeah, they're going to be going.
That's what I love is like especially being at the turn, I'm 20 picks away from my next pick once I go.
This is also
So it's like I'll play the game of like, who do I think's going to go? Who do I think's going to make it back? Like, that's what makes these fun for me.
This is a little bit easier than we've been practicing too. I mean, we've been practicing with these 30-round drafts.
Yep.
And now we have a 24-rounder, and that's going to influence a little bit where the defensive backs go. Maybe it means you jump in and get a couple early D-backs. Because honestly, I still like a bunch of the defensive linemen late. You can grab a bunch of like the Keon Whites. You can grab a bunch of these, just some of these rookie guys that you might think that could develop in year one.
Let me give you guys some dudes that are still available here. Darius Robinson, Braden Fisk, Nolan Smith, Tyree Wilson, Kalijah Cansey, Cam Jordan,
Cansey's a great pick there.
Zaven Collins, Zach Allen, Will McDonald, Vita Vea.
Gosh.
So we're in the 15th round, and there's quite a few dudes that are still available. AJ Epinesa, I'm adding him to the queue right now. Good Lord. What is he still doing there?
Yeah.
So there's still plenty of DL. I think the advice I would have is go off-ball linebacker. Make sure that you're not in – make sure you have maybe, 4, 5 going into like round 14, 15? Like what feels like a good number?
I think you want to have – I think through 10 rounds you want to probably have 4 or 5. Yeah. I feel like. Just because of all that, all these guys you just named. All those guys – the fact you got D-Law in the 12th round. Yeah. You got Van Noy in the 14th. Like, that's just silly.
Because I'm sitting here looking at the linebacker names, and I'm like, this group sucks. Yeah. And I'm like, I named all those DL, and it's like, those are some pretty good options.
Yeah.
So I think
also, like, these rooms are not like God bless everyone. Happy to have everyone in here.
God bless you all.
But they're just we've been drafting with a bunch of freaks all off season. And all these rooms had 12 good drafters in them, and so now it's a lot of people that are kind of figuring it out and
trying best ball for the first time. Right. Which is great. That's what this is for.
But it makes these guys fall.
Exactly.
And, I think that just stay impatient. You will be rewarded.
There's going to be more value later in the draft because guys are going to fall.
Yep, right.
Just by the nature of this being a bigger contest, right?
Yep.
So, all right, boys. Well, there's the IDP Madness breakdown. Very excited to see how these squads turn out. We'll post a little something on Twitter, maybe with our squads whenever we get done. But it's been fun.
I got a good little thread going, a little gift thread.
Yes, your gift thread
I
has
like
been
it.
elite.
I
I'm a
like
big
it.
fan. But seeing everyone post their rosters in Slack today, the past couple of days, has been a lot of fun. It's cool. Like, this is one of my favorite things that we do each year, and I think
It is fun. It was a lot of work, but it is.
Yeah.
Once you get it
Enjoy
going,
it.
it is a good time.
savor it, people.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know if we'll be back.
Yeah, well, we've got some cool stuff on the horizon with IDP Best Ball that I know is going to get announced here soon. So, IDP Best Ball is not going anywhere, and we're very, very happy to be. on
Don't
the
worry about
forefront
that part of it. And honestly, this will be how a lot of the drafts are next offseason. They're not going to be 31 rounds. Those
Yeah.
are great. We'll have those still, but for the most part, I think they're going to be 24 rounds.
Yeah.
It gets more people involved.
Yep, little lighter lift, little less intimidating.
Because I mean, rounds 25 through 31, boy, those can take.
Quentin Lake?
Feels like a month.
Yes,
You know?
it adds. You're like, oh, this will add maybe a couple days. No, it adds like a good 10
Yeah,
days.
and so we don't want to give people a bad experience like
Yes,
that.
exactly.
That it has a chance of being that at the end of some of
It
those
does.
long ones.
It drags
So,
a little bit.
If you're not Eric Harms.
yeah, but it's you guys win. The guys, I mean, if
Sure.
we're putting the ADP together and like it's so much deeper and it's
It's
a
worth
win
it.
for everybody.
But we'll mix in some shorter ones.
we want to get more of you guys involved.
Absolutely. So
I wonder if Harms could just read your ranks. You just tell him, like, Eric, start at 1.
That has been like
Eric, who's number 52?
seeing everyone post their rosters and just like
Yeah.
me having a hand and
Yeah.
you know
It's like a lot of children. You were a sperm donor.
like,
A lot
wow,
of these children
this
now,
is,
full grown.
this is cool, I guess.
Yeah.
I thought this would be a lot cooler. Everyone
Yeah.
doing what I did.
Oh, but they're in the same tournament as me,
Awesome.
and they're
awesome.
obliterating my build because they literally have my clone.
yeah, it's all right. We're still gonna stunt.
Still gonna stun on the hose. That's what we got to do.
That's all we do.
All right, so for you YouTubers out there, 27 minutes in, we're going to be moving to the preseason week 2. I'm just taking shots at the tubers today. Preseason week 2 recap, like last week. Thank you all for tuning into that episode.
We should thank YouTube. YouTube's been very nice to us.
YouTube
They're
has been nice to us.
a good group of people for the most part. We haven't had much riffraff.
Well, a lot of those get deleted.
Okay.
The riffraff gets tossed out the club.
All right, yeah.
Bouncer Josh comes in.
But for the
and is
most
like,
part, I
nope,
mean,
nope.
For the most part, we don't
Yes,
have a lot of that. Right?
by and large,
Yeah.
vast majority of our comments are very nice, very thoughtful, very grateful. So thank you all for tuning in. Way to save it, Addy.
Most
it's good
of 'em.
damage control. I'm just in my feels tonight.
a little sick.
A little
Yeah.
sick. Yeah, I don't,
It's the medicine.
little under the
We
weather.
get it.
But let's do the preseason week 2 recap here. We're going to have about 15, 16 news items for y'all. We'll whip through these, see what matters, what doesn't. Start in New England. Who is the Judon heir apparent? Judon, gone. Atlanta. Who is the next man up? Anthony Jennings, 9 snaps. Josh Uche, 27 snaps. And Keon White, 21 snaps are all names to watch. Addy, if you had to put your bet on one of these horses, who you taking to replace Matthew Judon?
I think Josh Uche.
I think so too.
Kind of like Josh Uche. I feel like he's got the best upside. Anthony Jennings is like he's going to be the guy that has the higher floor, But this, I don't think the ceiling is quite there, like it is for Uche. Uche had put up 10 sacks in a season already, and it was like on limited reps. So I mean we've seen him be, be pretty special at making sacks happen. So I think that, if this guy could get 700, 800 snaps, like the pressure rate, like we've mentioned a lot, like he always looks good in that area. So, yeah, I'd bet on Uche. But, I mean, Anthony Jennings is fine, too. I mean, both these guys.
He got fewer snaps, which might seem to imply that, this guy's going to get some run. Why wouldn't it be just Jennings and Uche?
Yeah, I think they're
Who
both.
am I missing now with Judon gone? We talked about Keon White possibly kicking inside a little bit now with Christian Barmore out indefinitely.
Yeah, no.
Could we see all 3 of these guys run out at the same time?
Sure, I think so.
But who do you want to bet on for IDP? I agree. Josh Uche. We've seen that before from this guy.
Yeah, and all these guys will be free.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they, I'd say both of them are maybe not now. If you were sharp and were paying attention to the Judon stuff, you probably did a speculative ad, hopefully. But I mean, they should, if they're out there on waivers, you should add them because, I think one of them's going to pop.
Somebody's getting some run.
They're going to get volume for sure.
Yes, exactly. Bobo,
Jennings got a little unlucky on the sack, so, that could go up for him too, I think. So
yeah, Keon White and Uche both got sacks. So, Bobo, this next news item is for you. Nolan Smith got the start for Philadelphia. He was impactful on 25 snaps, 2 pressures, 1 sack, pressure rate of 18%, win rate 9.1%. Nolan Smith, what do we think now? Got Bryce Huff there, Josh Sweat there. What are we thinking for the former Georgia Bulldog in 2024?
That's going to be pretty rotational, right? It feels like New England's going to be rotational. I was looking a little bit at their snap counts from last year. Judon got hurt early. He only played 16% of the snaps.
And we didn't talk about Dietrich Wise.
Yes,
He'll
that's
get a nice little role.
I feel like I'm forgetting someone.
So last year, Dietrich Wise played 54% of the snaps. Keon White got 45%. Lawrence Guy got 45%. Barmore was at 65%. Let's see. Judon got hurt early. Uche only played 29% of the snaps last year. Anthony Jennings at 59%. So
they brought Uche back.
It's probably going to be Anthony Jennings. He's going to get a majority of the snaps.
He's still young too.
Keon White's pretty fun, man. Yeah. I don't know. I'm probably gonna go with Keon White.
Well, let's play the game that you always love to play. Do you want Nolan Smith or do you want one of these New England guys?
I love Nolan Smith.
That feels kind of like a toss-up to me, honestly.
Yeah, one of the New England guys is going to get more snaps.
Yeah,
I think the upside is higher in New England, but it's like, who do you pick?
But yeah, Smith could be very efficient with his snaps. He could get 10 sacks on 50% of the snaps.
And they're rotational there too. Josh Sweat is terrible.
Bryce Huff could fall out of favor with Fangio.
Fangio's already
talking about not like a
three-down guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about Fangio, man. He's
annoying.
Yeah, he's getting that way.
But he did great for Phillips and Chubb.
Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips both were balling.
Maybe we're overblowing it a little bit. It could be awesome.
Did you say you would take Nolan Smith? I think I'll probably take Nolan Smith over those 3.
I think I would try to figure out the Patriots situation.
I don't think I'm taking any of them, honestly. I don't expect.
This is a forced.
I don't expect
contrived situation here.
Right.
I gotcha.
Probably picking up Malcolm Kuntz. I'd say he's probably out there.
That's the answer.
Preston Smith is probably out there.
The other Smith boy.
Okay.
Floyd. Like in our RSO leagues, like most people are in leagues where like that, I think, where you start 2 defensive ends.
Yeah.
And you're likely running 4 linebackers, 3, you start 3 and you're running
1 in the flex.
Yep.
Yeah.
So in those leagues, like, is anyone going to be that relevant? Like, Uche and, like, Anthony Jennings, like, those guys are really only relevant in, like, leagues where you start, like, 4 defensive linemen.
Yeah.
Those sleeper leagues.
In Dynasty, I kind of think Bryce Huff was a nice sell right now.
Yeah.
Sell real high, because I don't know that
You always cash out on the guy that has the upside that we haven't quite seen yet.
Well, and it's just like...
But he could absolutely do it, but he might not do it.
Yeah.
Someone going to give you a second for Bryce Huff?
I bet you so.
I don't think so.
I haven't got it. I've got him everywhere. No one's...
I think the most she gets like a third, maybe a third and a fourth. But I don't think anybody's giving you a second for Bryce Huff.
Cashing out for a third?
What's Bryce Huff's
Probably, yeah.
upside? Can he get 12 sacks in a season?
He just had 10.
Yeah. You think it gets better, though?
I don't know. I think, and if it does, like, are the tackle numbers going to be there?
Sometimes more doesn't equal more.
Yeah, even with the 10 sacks, it was still like, you look at the log and you're like, It
wasn't that great. Remember
that great.
You said that. It was like, okay.
Yeah.
It was like the quietest 10-sack performance game log-wise.
It's the run defense for him. He doesn't get to tackles and
Maybe
stuff.
Fangio's on to something.
Well, he's undersized.
Yeah.
That
was an issue.
Type.
It was the same thing at New York. They didn't play him but 50% of the snaps.
For a reason. Yep.
So let's go back real quick to the best ball madness. And I had a pick that was something I wanted to ask y'all about. So Lauren, shout out Lauren, baby, took Hassan Reddick in the 8th round.
Could be really nice.
Right? Yeah. I saw that and I was like, gosh, it was pretty good, Lauren. It was pretty smart.
I've also been seeing Joey Bosa's is going pretty late now, like 8th round.
Yep, that's true. He went late in ours as well.
Yes, 6th round here.
So, that could pay off. I know he is banged up right now, but, if he could put it together, that was a guy that was going in the 4th round.
Joey Bosa banged up?
I know.
Say it isn't so.
Bruh.
Yeah.
I haven't heard this story before.
It is,
Tale as old as time.
Right.
Well, speaking of another speculative edge rusher, don't you dare, Bobo. David Ojabo starting to show flashes of what we saw at Michigan and what led to the Ravens taking him in the second round in 2022, even though he was recovering from a torn ACL. The Ravens need all the help they can get off the edge, and a healthy Ojabo would be a massive boon. 2 pressures for Ojabo. I mean, I don't know. These Raven edge rushers, just give me Kyle Van Noy. I'm not an Owe guy. I'm not an Ojabo guy. Just no thanks.
Yep, same.
If somebody else, like I know there are folks out there who are big into Odafe Owe, think this is finally the year, maybe we see something. And I'm not denying that possibility is there. I just don't want to take that risk. I don't want to take that gamble.
There's people going in his range that I'd rather have.
Yep.
Like we've named a ton of them. Like I'd rather have the D-Laws, the Preston Smiths, the Leonard Floyds, all of them.
Yeah, there was
Kyle Van
someone.
Noy.
There was someone asking in our Madness draft chat, like, "Are you guys? Am I the only person who's in on Yaya Diaby?" I was like, "I like Diaby just fine."
Also
The
got a high ankle
range-
sprain now too.
The range he's going in, injury aside, I just like a lot of players better.
Same.
You know,
It's everyone's expecting like you're paying for the jump.
Yep.
You know, let's just get the guys that
we
are
know.
there, have been there.
Yes, this
Like,
old.
there's no need for it. We just
unsexy
need them to
veterans.
do what they've done their
Yep.
entire career. Let's just take those guys, and then when we've seen it from Yaya a little, 2-3 years, then we can give them that respect.
Yes.
But no, and also I don't think like the upside is great enough for him.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's like same with Owe. Like what's a great year for them? 6 sacks.
Yeah, it'd be massive for him based on what he's
Absolutely.
done so far. But
It's
it's like,
an
is that a
anything.
win? No.
Yep.
Yeah, the risk is not worth the reward,
Agreed.
and I would rather just go another direction.
Now maybe Owe goes off for 15 sacks.
Yeah, but
No.
there's
like a Danielle Hunter situation.
there's meat on the bone there for sure. And
He's everything looks fantastic with him.
if you're looking at the candidates for like who is the person that breaks this type of draft, right? Like IDP Madness, like who we're going to look back on at the end of the season and say that was the Khalil Mack, right? That was the person who massively outperformed their ADP, finished top 3 at the position, and won most everyone their leagues. He has the profile to be that kind of guy, but I don't know.
and especially with all of us being out, none of us here at the table like him. So I mean,
Yep.
if you believe, that's an edge.
That's
That is-
a draft edge, yes. Finding those players. That's why I said you have to have player takes. You can't just be straight down whatever rankings you're using, which you should be using Adams, but whatever rankings you're using, you can't just go straight down the ranks because you've got to differentiate. You've got to have takes and
in all
players
fantasy,
to differentiate
not
you.
even just best ball, but I mean like in Dynasty you kind of have to take shots sometimes. This speaking of Baltimore, so my little move this week, I moved Roman Wilson for Trenton Simpson. Any thoughts? Addy? Love it or hate it?
I don't know. I mean, I like Roman Wilson as a prospect, but that quarterback situation is pretty grim.
like, what is going on?
That's Starbucks.
My stuff.
It's the
You
lid.
I'm gonna give you the solo cam so we can see your shirt right now.
Jeez,
I'm
I'm
look at the
embarrassed.
stain, people. Look at the stain on this man's shirt,
I didn't get any in my mouth.
like a child.
So
I think my 1-year-old gets more.
That's Starbucks' fault there.
that's
Their
it's like
cups
the
do
faulty-
sweat.
Yeah, it's
We
we
not
don't.
like-
We need
Take the lid off.
like the little
Right.
sleeve, but one that traps the moisture,
Sure.
so it doesn't drip.
Sure.
So
But
anyway,
yes.
what were we asking?
Trenton Simpson for Roman Wilson.
Oh yeah, it scares me, Bob.
Yeah.
Roman Wilson is someone that I think we could look up and is like a Christian Kirk type asset.
Okay. Can I give you my wide receiver room? I don't need to tell you. I just feel like I've got a lot of Roman Wilson types.
That is true. You have an
I've got the
excess.
max. We've got 12. I've got a bunch of those little Roman Wilsons.
Do you have
running
12?
around.
Why you got him running around like they're his children?
Dude,
out on
I
the farm?
always carry 12. I will be maxed to 12 into
That's
eternity.
hilarious.
I don't know. I just really.
Who was your linebackers? You traded for Frankie.
I think you had linebackers.
Nick Bolton. I just I
Bolton
have
trades
Ernest
guy.
Jones, and I just traded Okereke for Frankie Louvu.
Okay, wow, that's a big one.
Probably in hindsight should have gotten a little
yeah, I
bump
would've tried
on
to get
Okereke.
Frankie.
But it was
Frankie
one of those
plus.
ones afterwards where it was just like, I'm fine with it. I'm okay.
Yeah, you got the type. Like you're just looking for certain types.
I like the
You got
Louvu types,
You got
man.
You got 2 or 3 tackle boys, and then you got Louvu who can give you some sacks.
If Trenton Simpson can be
Simpson, same
a
thing.
portion of what Pat Queen was, I really think he could. Be good. But Roman Wilson that's true.
No, it's good. I mean, it's good. I think the way I look at it is like, can Roman Wilson ever become worth a first? And I
Okay.
think maybe. I think
Yeah.
there's a world. Can Trenton Simpson ever become worth a first?
Probably not.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
Because
Right.
if let's
Especially with
say,
Roquan there.
I mean, what
Yeah.
is?
But I
is-
think both of them can become worth a second.
is Trenton Simpson is
Yeah,
his
yeah,
is
yeah.
his ceiling Pat Queen?
Yeah, I
Is
think
his
so.
ceiling higher than Pat Queen?
I think he's in that range, right? And is anyone willing to give you more than a second for Pat Queen?
No, absolutely not. There's just so few linebackers that reach that place of being worth a first round pick.
Right. There's
Three:
three right now, maybe.
Roquan, Foye, Fred Warner. Is that it?
That would be mine.
Yeah. I don't know that you couldn't get a first for Bobby O. No way.
Ernest Jones.
I don't think
He's-
you'd get a first for Ernest.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah,
Maybe a second and a
second plus,
fourth
I
or
think
something
a second
like that.
plus. Yep.
But
I got you.
that's it. I think that's the list.
Bolton's like same thing, like second plus.
Second plus for Bolton because of the market value.
Yeah, it's getting tougher for
It's just
Bolton.
tough, you know. It's just a lot of these guys aren't going to bring that top dollar that you're looking for.
Yep.
Interesting.
The
take.
market's never going to be, what it is for these offensive guys. So you just have more options with the offensive pieces. But I mean, I think overall, like based on where your team was at, like
Yeah.
it's fine. Like I mean, your
Yeah.
room's stupid. Like it doesn't like that could be one of those deals. In a few years, you look back and you're like, man,
Yeah.
that stinks.
That was a dumb one.
But
Trent Simpson has the potential to be very good
You're-
as well.
you're in
How
a-
did you describe him, Josh? High ceiling, low floor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He could be a top 15 linebacker
And
this
exactly
year.
like Macri talked about a couple weeks ago, to where it's like, what if they only run a lot of 1 LB sets? You
Yeah.
know, what if they've got Eddie Jackson and Kyle Hamilton out there together?
That's the floor falling out from under you.
Yeah,
Who
but-
has the chance to, like, if everything goes perfectly for these guys, who scores you more points? I think Trenton Simpson.
yeah.
I do.
I think I think in the short term,
Yes,
Yes.
in the short term.
like so I think like you'll win this deal. I think
This year. Yeah.
right? Because also he's hurt. Roman Wilson's banged up.
And also-
might be a redshirt year for him. Trent
Justin-
Simpson could like do really well.
Yeah. But
Trent
Justin
Simpson's-
Fields, Russell Wilson, but all of a sudden then like 2025, 2026, if they get a quarterback, Roman Wilson's pedigree is that he is going to have a really good career in the NFL. People really like him to be like a career Christian Kirk. That's a perfect little like wide
But
receiver
there's-
3 comp.
Oh, and like they're so good at hitting on the receivers,
Yes.
right?
Correct.
That's everyone's
Correct.
mind too.
yeah.
The ceiling though for Trenton Simpson, if he is Pat Queen, it's outscoring Roquan Smith because that's
Yeah.
what Pat Queen did last year, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Right.
it's like Simpson's upside is there as well.
I think
but
the move with like the hope is that Trent Simpson balls immediately, and
Sure.
I think you just flip him.
Yeah.
right?
cash out, get your third or second or whatever, and
I
then
think you
go
get
grab
a second at that point.
Yeah.
a Roman
so, too.
Wilson next year. You know,
Because otherwise, like I'll sit like I'll just write it out if I'm only gonna get a third.
Yeah.
You know,
Agreed.
not enough.
Agreed.
especially in season, if he's playing well and
Yeah,
you're
because
making a
Roman
push,
Wilson you got with
play
a
to win
third,
the game, baby.
Right.
Roman Wilson was a 310 somewhere.
And Trenton Simpson probably was too in that
Yeah,
range.
yeah,
You know,
for sure.
All right,
Interesting.
boys. So let's talk more linebackers.
that's a good one though. You made another one too, didn't you?
The Frankie Louvu one.
Oh
for
yeah,
Okereke.
okay. Yeah.
Well, that's a. I could lose that one. I'll admit that one. That one's a tough one. But
That one is fine. If I would have cashed out for more than just
yeah,
Louvu.
that
That's
was definitely
Fabio.
one in hindsight to where once it was accepted, I was like, oh man, that was faster than I thought.
That's one where you don't know if you've lost that one yet. Like you won't
Exactly.
know until like you see how those dudes perform against each other weeks like 15 through 18,
Yep,
right? That's when you
exactly.
know if you've won or lost a
Yep.
deal. If like if Luvu goes off,
Ever
win
since
you a week there and
Yep.
it matters.
If he helps you win a title, doesn't matter.
who cares?
I traded
Yeah.
Louvu a couple years ago, and I resented it ever since then.
Because he balled out.
Dude,
I
just
remember that.
the big play upside that Louvu has is just special for a linebacker.
He had like multiple 30-point games there at the end of
Yes.
the season. Like
Now, I don't love the whole Quinn, Micah, Parsons. I don't think that that's going to be the case. But if we could just get some, if we get 100 tackles, and if we could get some, let's say 6 sacks.
Yeah,
Let's not
that's-
go crazy.
that's what we've gotten. From,
know?
from,
Well,
from him so far.
This is a move I will say I think I would like better in best ball. In managed leagues, I'd much rather have Okereke.
Yeah.
Because I just want that stability, right? You know you can plug in. You're going to have to ride the wave, I think, a little bit with Luvu.
I feel like I've kind of got the stability though with Ernest and with Bolton.
You
Hopefully
do.
With
So you-
Bolton.
you-
it's like
And
all right,
you
let's
get
just
in
take a
baseball,
shot.
you get like the 3-round discount. too.
Exactly.
So that
Yeah.
really is nice.
You can throw Luvu into that third linebacker spot or into your flex, right? And he's your boom potential.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I got Harold
I think that
Landry down
makes
there
sense.
now though. So.
Let's talk Houston.
We talk about that a lot, but like I don't do that a lot. Put
Yeah.
like a Preston Smith as my four.
Yes.
Like, I'd rather have a guy like that.
Yep.
Demario Davis. Like one. That's
He's the opposite kind of Trenton Simpson. He's got a higher floor, in my opinion, than a Trenton
Yes.
Simpson, but he also still has kind of a high ceiling.
He does, yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the sack potential.
But you're right. I mean, I don't know. And the scoring
the
that we
floor's
have,
a lot lower.
the sacks and TFLs and stuff for linebackers is way juiced more than like a defensive end. So when you have a linebacker that gets sacked, there was that year a couple years ago, I ran out Judon, Hassan Reddick, literally every single defensive end that was still listed as a linebacker
Yep. Yeah.
before we switched to true position. And it was the funnest year because you would just literally
He's
get in
just
the box
going with
score
the-
and
with
think,
the best
God,
ball,
please
dual
just have a
Desi
sack.
squad.
Please have a sack.
That's a heart attack waiting to happen.
Let's
right
talk
there.
about the Houston linebackers.
Let's talk
Josh.
Houston. Couple of points here that I'm excited about. Christian Harris has yet to make his preseason debut, and he might not due to a nagging calf injury. Henry To'o has been his on-field fill-in so far, playing the same amount of snaps as Azeez Al-Shaair. It'll be interesting to see what the splits will be when Christian Harris returns. Also in Houston, bounce back year for Jalen Pitre. Got on the highlight reel picking off Daniel Jones in the 2-yard line for a touchdown. That was a hilarious interception by Danny Dimes while adding 2 tackles on just 14 snaps versus the Giants. After crashing back to earth in 2023 following a meteoric 2022, could we see Pitre as something of a post-hype sleeper in 2024? Let's talk about the Christian Harris news first. Any worry, Addy, that it may be To'o instead of Christian Harris with this Harris injury going on?
Never know.
Never know.
I mean, if 202 does his thing.
I didn't want to throw it to you on Pitre because it was going to be, who cares, move on, it's a DB. And then I throw it to you on To'o and you start to fritz out on me. So I was screwed either way there.
I can't not.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I still think Christian Harris will be that guy.
I think so too.
He was just too good to finish the year. And he's fun, man.
He is.
I think that's what we want to see. We want to see him and Azeez out there doing their thing. So I think that he's going to have a shot. Now, he could, if he doesn't perform well, like, yeah, and
Or if
they know they got Henry T back there, did a capable job. Like, that's the concern now is, like, Henry T is going to get some run. If he is solid, like, Christian Harris better be solid too.
There's not a long. Well, if he's banged up, like what if this is a nagging injury? It's a nagging calf injury.
Yeah, calf stuff is not great.
Anything hammies or calves just worry me.
Yeah.
Because that can just pop back up.
Soft tissue.
Yeah, that's worrisome. So I think if healthy, there is no doubt in my mind it will be Christian Harris and Azeez Al-Shaair. But this is something to monitor now as we head into week 1 is what is the practice reports? Is he listed as questionable? Is he doubtful? What's the beat reporter saying? Just pay attention to this if you're banking on Christian Harris. Bobo.
You drafting Christian Harris?
I have several places.
But now?
No, not now. Absolutely not.
Nah.
Round 10. Christian Harris is there.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Josh is taking the shot.
I'm not.
You're not.
No.
So you'd be looking like linebacker 40-ish, probably.
It'd probably have to be like after the 12th-ish round for me.
It's him versus Jerome Baker versus Dotson.
No question, Christian Harris.
Yeah, we're getting close to Christian Harris there.
KJ Britt or Christian Harris.
KJ Britt.
KJ Britt. It's close though. I just want clean bills of health. This is a little worrisome. But KJ Britt has Savasier Dennis there as well, so it's not like the depth chart's totally clean for him as well.
I think the interesting thing is that Azeez Al-Shaair, 84 tackles. He had also 79 assists, 9 TFLs, 4 pass defended, and 2 sacks last year. I think he could even have a better year than he did last year.
I agree.
And that's kind of
Big
hard to
play-wise.
believe. Absolutely. Yeah. Honestly, I think he might even have some more tackles this year.
You gotta
especially
keep
with
in
this
mind,
kind of news.
I think D'Amico Ryans, I think coaches are human beings at the end of the day, and they have a soft spot, I think, for dudes that are just that they kind of like vibe with. And I
Yeah.
think you saw Azeez Al-Shaair under D'Amico Ryans in San Francisco. So he goes and seeks this guy out, coming off a breakout season in Tennessee. And what is Christian Harris? Christian Harris is the guy that D'Amico Ryans turned around when Lovie Smith and his staff could not do it before D'Amico Ryans got to town. So I think there's a little bit of bias on the part of Ryans to say, these are my two guys. This is Christian Harris, the guy I coached up, who was one of the worst linebackers in the league his rookie year. This is my dude, Azeez Al-Shaair. I just think if they're healthy, this Houston linebacker core could be very special. Like, I'm not saying it's Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw. I'm saying he has his version of that. I think these are the linebackers he wants to run with.
Yep.
Just need him to be healthy.
Henry T's his old Al-Shaair.
Yes, exactly. So
I agree, though, about
maybe on his second coaching job, he'll go back and get a Henry T.
I agree about
Coming
the
off his
Jalen
third team.
Pitre. Nobody cares.
Yeah, who cares?
I mean, I will say the thing that I thought was interesting from Macri was the alignment. I don't know if you all saw his
Good usage.
Over on the bench, they had him all the way.
Well, he was playing, I think. Yes, he was on the bench, Bobo. That was it. You got it.
Sorry, that was a bad one. It's now 10.
I'm too sick for this, Bobo. You gotta let me go. Let me go. No, the usage was much more in the sweet spot. Whereas I think he was playing a lot deep maybe last year. But John was just pointing out, it's up to Pitre to take advantage of it, but his alignment was a factor last year in why he struggled.
Yeah. I guess it depends on where he's going to be drafted at. What do we know? What his ADP was in this?
Oh, I'm sure
this
it was.
offseason?
I'm sure it was still way too high.
The one I didn't really keep track of was him. I didn't have Pitre anywhere.
Well, I think it was lower. I think last I looked, it was like safety 18 or something like that.
Yeah, still way too high. I think.
But I was impressed that, what do you want him to be, like safety 50?
I mean, I'm not.
You want all safeties to start at like safety 36.
I wish they would.
They should get the hell out of here. He's safety 18. Damn, I'm good. So DB 23, ADP 180.
Dude,
Wow.
what a
that's a little silly.
what a crazy season, man. 195 tackles, 1 sack, 5 interceptions in 2022.
No, not 195.
That would be insane. That would be like
That'd be the
most
all-time. That'd be
all-time
more than
records.
Foyer in the past 3 years.
Where are you getting these stats from, Bobo? You're a little juiced here.
Pitre.com.
Yeah, Jalen Pitre is the best.com. Let's move on to the next news item here. It's somebody that we've talked about a lot.
147.
Okay, there you go. That's
I was adding something else anyways.
you were adding too much.
295 tackles.
He had 7,000
I
tackles.
could understand that ADP if that was
Yeah,
a thing.
sure.
at
Yeah,
one point.
sure.
Yeah, if he had 200 tackles, sure.
I'll
You take
chase
him at
that.
safety, take him at IDP 101. Blood, sweat, and tears. Austin Booker, Arn was talking about preseason defensive rookie of the year, which is just a hilarious award. But the reality is Chicago will likely rotate the edge role with Booker and DeMarcus Walker during the season. Montez Sweat, though, could we see 80+% of snaps for him in 2024? We've talked about the Chicago edge rotation a lot, but I really do think there's meat on the bone here opposite of Montez Sweat. Who's it going to be? That's going to be fun to track.
Yeah, I don't know. I doubt it. I doubt it. I just don't see it.
I agree with that.
I mean, it's just like what league, what type of shape am I going to have to be in to rely on a Austin Booker or DeMarcus Walker?
It's a long season.
I mean, potentially, yeah.
It is a long season.
Weird things happen, no doubt about it. But
Montez Sweat goes down, then what happens,
Sure.
It's
I
just-
mean, they'll get volume, but how effective are they going to be with
I mean,
it?
who
You know what
knows?
I mean, like
Yeah.
we saw the same stuff with like Arizona last year. Like those people were getting volume there and
Doesn't matter.
did not matter.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that would be the type of situation to be in Chicago. If Montez Sweat goes down, they're screwed.
Yeah, that team is going to be very bad.
Like no one's getting pressure if that happens.
Yeah.
So, I don't. Good story. It's fun. I think you got to definitely have Austin Booker in your dynasty leagues. We've discussed that.
Yep.
But I'm going to be shocked if we're
talking about the Chicago edge rushers opposite Montez Sweat.
yes.
I just think it's one of those ambiguous situations where there's value to be had potentially, but it is unproven. I mean, DeMarcus Walker gave us nothing last year, coming in with a little bit of hype to Chicago, and now Austin Booker's getting a little bit of hype. It seems like kind of like the Atlanta Falcons, where we're just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for that edge rusher to come
There's
in.
just some teams that are stayaways.
Yeah, they're just cursed for whatever reason.
And it's like what's the upside, right?
Yeah.
Is someone on this unit going to get over 6 sacks?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
So it's like
Montez.
well, outside of him.
Okay,
you know
okay.
what I mean?
The only thing that I do like about Booker is that he is like a play to the whistle type of guy. So I think you're going to get just 100% Austin Booker. Like, he's going to give his best effort, which will probably lead to like some cleanup sacks and stuff. But you're exactly right. Sometimes, I mean, that's a hard position to play, especially as a rookie, and you're going to ask them to play over and over and over again against the best, some of the best defensive linemen in the NFL. The preseason is whatever. You're getting that team's best guard, tackle, whatever it is in the actual season. It's tough to do that snap after snap after snap. That stuff gets old.
Yeah, man. Preseasons, all these preseason stats gotta be taken with a grain of salt. Just because, like what you're saying, I mean, the competition that these guys are facing is not
the preseason
reality.
The preseason negativity is what to pay attention to, not so much the positivity.
Yeah, I think my mind is just like, there's not always, it's like the offensive equivalent's like, who's this year's Puka Nacua? It's like, there's no Puka Nacua
It's
for
Jalen
2024.
McMillan, but yeah, you're right.
It's like Puka was an extreme outlier in very rare circumstances, but is there a 2024 version of Byron Young, of Yaya Diaby, like these rookies that we don't really expect that pop?
Yeah.
And so, guys
fist.
like, we've mentioned Austin Booker a ton. We've mentioned Chop Robinson. We're going to talk about a guy here in just a second, the other Robinson. Let's just go there because that's actually the next news item. Darius Robinson in Arizona could be in for a decent workload in 2024 due to the B.J. Ojolari injury. Even though he's a rookie, he sat out week 2 with all the other presumed starters. And you'd think they'd want to get him as much playing time as possible, but he sat. And so I think, Arizona is a hot mess on defense as well, especially along that defensive line, except for Dennis Gardeck, the Juice King. But I'm wanting to monitor these rookie edge rushers. We talked about, Bobby and I, before you got here, Addy, like this wide receiver class. Yeah, we were here for a long time.
Said a lot of stuff.
Said a lot of things. We said that this wide receiver class, I think, is going to be pretty special. This rookie class with Neighbors, Odunze, Marvin Harrison up top, but then like just even these later guys could be, top 24, top 32 type of dynasty wide receivers here in a year or two. I think this edge rushing class is going to be similar. And so who are we wanting to pay attention to? I think Darius Robinson, first round pick. Like we kind of forget that. But first round pick, the Arizona Cardinals used the Texans pick on that one. And who else is there, man?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean,
Zaven,
versatile
Gardeck.
player too. I think he can do a lot of play some inside, play some outside. Yep. So yeah, I mean, there's not any talent there in Arizona. So I mean, this guy will he'll be, I think, their most valuable asset on defense immediately. So yeah, he should get all the opportunity, and up to him to see what he does with it. But I mean, he's someone that I'm excited about. I know that we were. I think we talked about him in our first rookie preview this offseason. So I mean, I think that he could be a big surprise. A guy that was, free there in the 5th round, 6th round, in those type rookie leagues. So, he could definitely pay off. He absolutely should not be on your waiver wire.
No,
and there's a chance that he could be. Yeah. I mean,
he's going to get a ton of run. Why wouldn't you just give this guy, if he can handle 70+% of snaps? Who else is there?
Yeah. Let him work through it.
Yeah, that team's still gonna. That team will be scrappy because I think the offense will be a lot better. But this is not a playoff team,
right?
This is probably
and the defense is
6 or 7 wins.
The defense is just not good enough.
No, not even close.
Offense is respectable now. You got some legit playmakers. Collar's back. I think Collar's underrated. But yeah, that defense is just so far away. Like really, like one of the worst units.
It
in
might
the league.
be the worst. I don't know where you could look that would be worse than that.
Now maybe the coaching is solid. We know he's a psychopath and everything.
That he is.
But yeah,
The talent's just not there, man.
Right.
It's like you can coach guys up, but if you coach this unit up, it's going to be like maybe a smidge above average.
Carolina's
Carolina's pretty bad.
Just nobody on
Right.
the
They've just
defensive
bled
line.
talent. I mean, it's Derek Brown and Josie Jewell, Trevin Wallace.
Caleb Von Chason, I think, is there. Yikes.
Yeah, those are two of the worst, no doubt.
But yeah, Darius Robinson was a guy that I think Brugler had really high pre-draft.
Oh yeah.
You know, and anytime Brugler or Daniel Jeremiah has some of those guys, it's like one of the top edges off the board, and then they come off the board in the first. It's like, I don't know. You should pay attention to those type of things. Yeah, you're right. I don't know. I've got two leagues that I can think of right now that Darius Robinson may be out on waivers.
Yeah. Another guy that might be on your waivers is KJ Henry. Need to take a look. 7 pressures
He
in
is.
2 preseason games.
Is he?
And
100%. I mean, yeah, most of my leagues he is.
the starters are Dorrance Armstrong and Clellan Farrell right now. So not exactly a scary room. KJ Henry, I think, is the only incumbent, right? Because
was there
Dorrance
last
is over
year.
from Dallas. Clellan Farrell's over from San Fran, I believe.
Casey
and then
Hill.
Dante Fowler's over from Dallas. So Henry's been there now. It's a new coaching staff. So that,
And I mean, you wonder like what type of opportunity he have if like he's going to have with Frankie Louvu potentially getting a lot more
Yeah.
snaps on the edge. I mean, I feel like Dorrance Armstrong is going to get a healthy amount.
he's
Most
the one
ever
that
seen.
he's the one you feel best about.
Yeah, I think so. And they paid him like it was like what 3 years, like 30ish, somewhere in that range. So I mean, that's good money.
We know you're putting your chip on Frankie Louvu as this team's best edge rusher, Bobo.
Yeah, but what is interesting is, you know, so what do you do with Jamin Davis now? I know
cut him.
we'll kind of lead into that, but you think the Commanders will cut him?
I do.
Wow.
And I don't really mean that Armstrong's the best pass rusher. I just think he's going to get the largest snap share.
I agree.
Right, like he's going to probably get
was paid to.
60 to 70% now, minimum. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I
I'd
would
say
think so.
70.
Yeah. So I mean,
North of 65 if he's healthy.
so then like how does if Frankie Louvu is getting 50 all of a sudden, you got
What
Dante
is that?
Fowler who's pretty solid. We got KJ Henry who's still a little unproven. I know he should have a larger role than he did last year.
Yeah, you hope so.
But again, it's like there's so many, like there's
quite a few.
there's just so many people that we can talk about, but they're never really going to be relevant for you. You know what I mean? Like with these edge guys, you're looking for like the top 30.
A good year with Dorrance Armstrong is like 7 sacks. You know, that's a great year for Dorrance Armstrong. You know?
But man, I need something better as my
Yes.
defensive end 3. and
Absolutely.
4. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
I'm looking to have 10 sacks minimum out of all 4 of my starters.
Preferably 15.
Yeah.
preferably 15.
Yeah.
let
Give me a
just
couple years and
load.
we'll get there,
Well, let's talk about maybe another position that's not going to matter, but we're trying to figure out who is this opposite linebacker from Terrell Bernard now with our beautiful Matt Milano out for probably the entire season.
Yes.
August 18th, boys, was Joe Andreessen Day. I don't know if you all knew this.
That's what I hear.
But 25% tackle rate, 11 tackles, but a 15.4% missed tackle rate on 44 snaps. So he was the hot talk in the Twitter streets. A lot of fun Joe Andreessen memes flying around.
Yeah, it's a good time. It was a good time.
Yeah, it was a good day. Like, it's just fun. Like, it's a Sunday.
It's
What
fun
else do we
to-
have going on?
Sure.
Just enjoy football.
Fun to dream.
Yeah, but it's just Terrell
Imagine.
Bernard there. Because I really don't know. Dorian, is it Andreessen? Is it, who was it? Morrow's
Morrow,
still there?
I don't think it's going to be Andreessen.
I don't think it's going to be any of these guys.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a rotation of these guys.
Yeah, they're them trying to constantly figure it out.
Yeah.
That'd
It's going to be
what it is.
Shaq Leonard is who it's going to be.
Is he there? He's there, isn't
No.
Shaq's probably closer to retiring. He's talking about, I'm at peace with my career. Shaq is done.
he? He's
I'm
not on
telling
the
you.
team, is he?
No.
Okay.
Hey, bring him
When
in.
you start having the retrospective part of
Who,
your off season and you're not signed, it's Jover.
Somebody else is there. Nick Morrow.
Yeah.
It's probably, I mean,
It'll
It's
probably
Nick
be him.
Morrow.
Never
it'll
know.
Be, it'll be Morrow.
It's just unsexy.
more importantly, let's talk about this here at the
was gonna
end.
say.
Joshua. Greg Rousseau, 3 pressures, 3 sacks, win rate of 42.9%. What if old Greg takes a step this year? I was literally
Boy.
just looking in our best balls. Old Nico took Russo at the 6'11". What if Russo really belongs more in like the second to third round?
You're looking at guys that could break Madness, that could break these best ball drafts. Russo is right up there. I mean, we want it to happen, right? It's just a matter of volume.
Yeah.
But this team is not as good as it was. This defensive line is not as good as it was. So could they give Greg Russo 70% of snaps? I'd love to see it. And what we've seen so far, it's mighty tasty, Addy.
Might be hard for them not to, right?
I know, right?
It's like, we got to stop doing this dumb rotation.
Get
Let's
the best guy
Greg
on the
Rousseau
field.
out there.
Yes.
What are we doing here? Yeah, I mean, those conversations can happen at some point, you know? So, yeah, I love Greg Rousseau. I mean, he's also got a great ADP. Like, he's still lingering there in the 7th round for me in this best ball that I'm, IDP Madness that I'm in. So,
You're thinking.
yeah, he's definitely, the problem is there's just so many damn good ones, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's tough. So, but yeah, he's a candidate to be a breakout this season. Big fan. He's someone that's slept on.
We just want – he's just a Corvette with a blown tire, man. It's just like get him the snaps, and this dude could absolutely be a top 12
But
edge.
I think you don't want to, you know, depend on that for it, or just count on that being the way it's going to be for the rest of his career. Like you want to hope that it works out for him. Hope that he gets a better snap share because you do like all the other stuff around it, all the pressure rate, all the PFF stuff, the fact that he looks good, he's huge, he's getting better every single year.
He's a freak.
I mean, it's all lining up. So
Okay, so not points per game, but let's just say for who the player has been so far in the NFL, who takes a bigger step personally, Greg Rousseau or Kayvon Thibodeau?
I mean, probably Kayvon.
I'm kind of back in on Kayvon because now everyone's out. Everyone's pinning the fades.
Yeah.
Let's fade Kayvon.
Could be better this
His
year.
pressure rate
Brian
sucked.
Burns there.
I do not really care about pressure rate the first 3-4 years of a guy's career. These guys are young. Kayvon is super young. I think Kayvon's younger than Latu.
He might be. Latu's an older prospect. He looked old as hell out there tonight.
People need to think about that stuff. Like, everyone needs to adjust for age all the time. Because this is Kayvon's 3rd year. He's got talent around him now. And even as rocky as it has been for Kayvon, he still managed to put up over 11 sacks.
Tibbs is 23.7.
That's crazy.
So he's right there with Latu.
Jared Verse is older than Kayvon.
Yep.
I would say most of this year's
So let's all
rookies.
chill out on Kayvon. I know the pressure rate wasn't what we wanted, but he is 23.7.
Yeah, Latu's 23.7 as well.
So
you think
settle
Kayvon,
down. He's still got plenty of upside. We could look up and Kayvon has 15 sacks, and everyone feels very stupid.
Yeah, he feels like that type that could really get to the 15 sack type of feel.
Exactly.
It doesn't feel like a guy like Greg Rousseau is like, man, a 12 sack season is going to be incredible for you.
Yes.
You know, but Kayvon feels like he could really.
We've already seen 11 out of him, and he sucked.
I know.
You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the thing with Kayvon. I think Kayvon has a ceiling that a lot of these guys don't. And maybe he busts. Sure. That could definitely happen with him.
Kayvon is younger. He's a December 15th. Latu's December 30th. So he is younger than Latu.
So everyone chill the hell out with that stuff. Give these guys some time.
I sent an offer this week. I sent Micah Parsons for Kayvon and a first and got declined.
Interesting.
It's a thinker, right?
Yeah, I think I'd rather have Kayvon in the first.
It's kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I want the pick.
But I was like, man, this is Micah, you know. Not a whole lot of chances to acquire Micah Parsons in IDP.
It's true.
It's just a thought.
It's a thinker.
Thought I had.
Yeah, but that Kayvon window could be closing too.
That's true.
You know?
Very good point.
Addie, this next news item is for you, baby.
You're sounding hot.
Thank you. Got that husky voice going on.
Yes, sir.
If you're not following Adam on Twitter, at AdamIDP, you're hamstringing yourself for the season. Aaron, you're not getting a raise. Stop asking. These little
I'm going to see what I can do.
little nuggets. He does not have access to the bank account. One guy he's highlighted this past weekend, was Derick Hall. Hall had a great game on 23 snaps versus the Titans, continuing from a strong week 1. 4 pressures, 1 sack, 36.4% pressure rate. Eddie, this is one of your babies. You talked about Derick Hall a lot on this show. Liking what you're seeing so far this preseason?
Hard not to, man. We talk about motor and effort a lot, and Derick Hall is certainly one of those guys. And then like a low key good athlete, like 9.5 something RAS, I believe. So, early second round pick. This will be year 2 for him. He is, it is going to be maybe a struggle to get on the field because there's a lot of talent there in Seattle. Like, I love that defensive line. Boy, Mafe, Uchenna's back. Then we got they kicked Jermont Jones to the edge just because they're like, we can't use you, brother.
You.
Like, you play a new position now. Byron Murphy, like, he could be a monster.
Jerome Baker.
Yeah,
also
he
really
rushes. And I'm sure I'm missing some people too. But I mean, I love Derick Hall. Been a big fan. He's free. He's out there on your waivers probably. But yeah, I think that his time is going to come eventually. He reminds me a lot of like a Carl Lawson type player, but I think a better tackler. So love Derick Hall.
The Seahawks team is going to be fun.
Hell yeah.
I think this defense is legit good.
But the clips of Derick Hall, sick. Like, and the effort, like, knocking down a tight end that's just trying to come block him, knocking down the offensive lineman that's next to him, and then still getting the tackle. Like, that's the type of stuff that he does. Like, powerful dude.
That's not a lot of guys
explosive
can do that.
dude. Like, big fan, man. They know what they're doing there in Seattle, and now they've got an even better defensive-minded head coach.
Yeah, I was going to say, not that Pete Carroll was a bad defensive mind. I think he's actually very good, but sometimes you just need a breath of fresh air to come in there after a coach has been with a certain team for so long. And I think Mike McDonald is going to be a shot in the arm for this Seahawks defense that underachieved a lot.
Yeah, I don't know
at the end under Pete Carroll.
I don't know that McDonald's ever had that type of talent on the defensive line. I mean, he's got 3 like really, really good.
Yeah.
Oh, Darrell Taylor was the guy that.
Yep.
I was forgetting. Like, he's been solid too. Like, I mean, they're 4 deep. There in Seattle, and then interior wise, very good too. Jerron Reed, big fan of him.
Draymond Jones, you mentioned. What was it?
Leonard Williams.
Leonard Williams. I was like,
Oh my
the
God.
Giants.
Like,
Yeah, Byron
they're
Murphy.
sick.
This is probably the deepest defensive line, and I don't know that it's particularly close. No superstars necessarily, but
So underrated, right? And then
solid, no holes.
The secondary. I mean, they brought in Rashawn Jenkins. You re-up Julian Love.
Yep.
Witherspoon is lurking.
and Woolen. You saw
Woolen,
training
right.
camp clips of these guys just
Yeah.
bullying. I can't remember who it was. Maybe the Giants or Commanders or somebody.
Yeah.
Did y'all see they traded for the rookie Barrett out of Michigan?
Who'd they trade
That
for?
was today.
Traded Michael Jackson.
Oh, that's right. Yes. I thought about Johnny when I thought about that
Yeah.
because they had a Kobe Bryant and a Michael Jackson at one point.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's fun. All right, Bobo, this next news item is for you. Are you familiar with Omar Spates
No.
of the Los Angeles Rams? We talked about the depth chart behind Ernest Jones as Barron. You got the half of the Legion of Boom for the
Yeah.
LA Rams with the Christian Roseboom as the backup to Ernest. But Omar Spates, UDFA,
Yeah.
second straight game on 40-plus snaps, 9 tackles, 21% tackle rate, 89.1 overall grade by PFF. Just a name.
Yeah.
We're going to put it on your radar.
He's fine. The only negative, though, that PFF crowd for the Rams is always pretty healthy. It seems like all the Rams rookies, their PFF grade is above 80.
Just coach them up well.
Take all this with a grain of salt. I think it's still Christian Roseboom that would probably be directly behind Ernest. But, yeah, put a pin in it. Star him over there on your
Just
sleeper.
a name to throw out
sleeper
there.
tab.
So, if one of these names that you hear on these preseason recaps pays off, it's worth it.
For sure.
We're gonna victory lap it. No
Absolutely
doubt.
going to
Clip it.
I don't remember from one episode to the next what we talked about, let alone from the preseason to the end of the season. Give me a break with that. Let's wrap up, though, with Cody Fartin-Startin Barton. Last year, the Broncos used a heavy dose of 2 linebacker sets when both Jewell and Singleton were healthy. This is a Cody Barton tweet. He played 14 snaps like the other Broncos starters and posted a 14% tackle rate. Cody Barton, he's in my queue as I'm coming down the home stretch. Worth anything?
Sure. I mean, round what are you in right now? 15, 16?
15. Yeah, it could be 15 or 16.
He just keeps doing it. I
know.
mean, is he going to get like 80% of the snaps? No, but he's probably going to be between 50 and 70, and that's 100 tackles probably.
Probably.
So, is Jelani Tavaiso out there? Is he long gone?
He's gone. He got snatched up early.
Yeah, the glow up's been nice for him.
Yes, it has.
He was
He owes a lot to me for that.
early on. Yeah, he does everything. Some people are saying.
That's what I've heard.
But that was a guy that was like literally like you could have gotten him probably in the last round.
Oh, dude, he was cut and
But before his little extension, right? I mean,
He was maybe in the, like, what is it, 335 on the ADPs,
Hey.
where it's like he's not being drafted.
good for Jelani for making it out of the Matt Patricia days in Detroit.
A lot of people didn't.
No, sir.
seen some things.
Yeah, old pencil boy.
He really has. I mean, he gotten to deal with old
Belichick.
pencil boy Belichick.
Man.
Well, thank you all for tuning in.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed these last
One last nug.
8 minutes of rambling.
One last nug. One thing that I did notice. Arizona, Dadrian Taylor Demerson, safety there in Arizona. Their 4th round pick, 88.7 overall PFF grade on 64 snaps this preseason.
Yeah.
Could have an opportunity coming up with Jalen Thompson, Buda Baker getting up there in age and contract issues. So
That's why you stick around to the end right there.
And one last
That's why
nug.
he's the best
One
in the
last
game.
nug. Jordan Whittington, the wide receiver for the Rams, is crushing it.
One last nug. I'm very tired and going to bed. We'll see you all next week.
It's the IDP